All right, welcome into the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. It is the Final Four preview. We are at the end. It's hard to believe we're already here, but here we are. It's most of the crew tonight. If you were tuning in for a Georgia Aquarium review, that's been postponed. Matt Merrifield not joining us tonight. OHL playoffs are alive and well right now. Shout out the Flint Firebirds. They don't play tonight, so I don't know why he's actually not here, but we'll just still use that excuse. Jada
I know why.
Jada Coster knows why.
I've gotten reports he's just enjoying some local beverages at a local establishment in the great city of East Lansing. The guy is in his last. We gotta give him a little slack. He is in the last month of college, until he has to be an adult. So I give him a little slack for missing the show because there's barely really anything to talk about besides this boring Final Four. It has all one seeds. Cut him a little slack, but yes, he is. I know where he is at right now. No free ads.
That's breaking news, folks. That is breaking news straight from Jada Coster. Justin Walsh also joining us tonight. Didn't want to forget to introduce him as we ramble on about Matt's current location. It doesn't matter though, because it is what it is. Jay Walsh, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, we're living, and JDC, I am curious, is that alternative location that Matt is located at tonight, is that would that be Luha's or would that be the Riv?
That would be, yeah, it would rhyme with who's and then laws. Yes.
Beautiful.
No free ads on our great show, but yes, that's where he's located as we speak.
Of course. That's the SPMSU special. So gotta love it.
Yes, of course.
Don't really expect anything less there. What can we say? Shout out, as Jay said, no free ads, but what a great World Cup watching venue. What a time. That's all I'll say. Let's just get into the Final Four. Again, I said pre-show, we're not going to have a lot to talk about, and this show's still going to end up being an hour and a half long somehow. So we're just going to get into the Final Four right now. It is Auburn versus Florida, Duke versus Houston, all one seeds for the first time since 2008. And where was that Final Four hosted? San Antonio. That is where we are. And if you look back, who won in 2006 and 2007 was a back-to-back national champion. So basically, folks, what I'm saying is I don't know what's going to happen because it is what it is.
What you're saying is MSU is going to the title game next year.
Possibly, and then getting absolutely destroyed by some.
We don't need to talk about that part. Just MSU to the title game. Book your betting tickets right now.
Yes, we'll probably get in. Well, you know what, Jay Walsh, you've opened the portal. Let's just get into MSU. I'm going to start with you too, since you opened it. It's been a long week. Just say what you need to say.
Well, first off, I'm going to start off by going over the MSU Auburn game.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, So I'm really not that upset about it because, frankly, Auburn's a better team. Auburn is better than Michigan State is. MSU would have needed to play a near perfect game to win that game, and especially because A, Auburn is a bigger team, and B, they are generally more athletic. So when those two things are against you, you need an unbelievable performance out of your guards to win a game like that. And getting a combined 1 for 20 from Trey Holloman and Jaden Akins pre-garbage time when the game was already over, that's not going to get it done. So I'm not that upset about it. And honestly, frankly, in addition to all of that, and I promise this is not trying to be like sour grapes or whatever, because like I said, Auburn was the better team. They deserved to win that game. But every lucky bounce and every 50-50 ball went Auburn's way in that game. I felt like every time MSU was on defense and they got a swipe or they got a block, the ball went directly to an open Auburn player who hit a three. It was just, it just wasn't MSU's night. Auburn was just the better team. In terms of everything that has happened after the game, namely the transfer portal. Two of the major announcements were not surprising to me. Garrick Norman and Xavier Booker, not surprising. I was fully expecting both of them to be gone after this season. Wish them both the best. Unfortunate it didn't work out, but I hope they can find playing time and kind of get to where they need to be. For the life of me, I did not see this coming with Trey Holloman. The guy I talked to my dad about it. He literally, the day before, was crying in a post-game interview talking about how he let the team down, he let his teammates down, how Izzo has called this the most connected team ever. And then a team captain enters the portal the next day. I don't understand it. Frankly, I thought it was an April Fool's joke the first time I saw it, but then I just kept seeing it over and over and over again. So I was like, I feel like this can't be this widespread at this point. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here because I don't even know if he can realistically come back from this. Like even if he tests the waters, doesn't necessarily find anything great and comes back to MSU, that reputation is still tainted because you clearly are looking for a way elsewhere. I can't necessarily fault him in trying to get a bag. By all means, if I was in his position and some other school was offering me $1 million or $2 million, that's incredibly hard to turn down. But at the same time, you've spent the entire season trying to become that guy for MSU, endearing yourself to the fan base, sticking up for your teammates, standing up for the biggest tradition in MSU basketball. Izzo let you kiss the floor afterward, being the first non-graduating senior to do that. You're wearing number 5 for Cassius Winston, a number that is going to get retired sooner or later. I didn't see this coming. I don't know how to feel about it. So I'll let you guys get into it, but I don't know. That one really blindsided me.
Yeah, in terms of the Auburn game, I'm going to say the same thing. Auburn's just a way better team. Janai Broom, it just, it wasn't MSU's day when Janai Broom gets hurt and then he pulls a Klay Thompson and then just comes back in and then just does his thing. It just wasn't their day. You didn't get the good performances from Akins until the end, which was a little disappointing because it's his last game. It wasn't your day, but you lay a stinker in your last game, that's not great. Holloman, in his last game goes 0 for 10. That's not great. They're just the better team. I'm not really I wasn't really expecting much. Me and Nick have been talking about. We've been on the same page saying, yeah, I'm just along for the ride. Whatever happens, happens. I didn't really expect to win that game. I was nervous coming into it because you're playing for a Final Four, but we were not beating those. Those guys are on a different level. Physically, they killed MSU on the glass. They're just a way better team. And as far as Holloman goes, it did surprise me because this is a guy who's given his all for the program. He's been a fan favorite of mine. This guy's been ever since the Big Ten tournament against Purdue, where he stood up to Zach Edey there, and he became a program type leader. There, I was like, yeah, this guy's a dog, and I don't really blame him. If he wants to go get a bag, do it, because he's not going to the NBA. If he gets more money in NIL, go for it, man. I'm not going to blame you for that. I don't know where. I think in my perspective, it's forcing Izzo to have to go get two or more guys in the portal, because if Jace Richardson isn't coming back, yeah, you're going to have to go get a couple guys, and we all know Izzo's stubbornness in the portal. And yeah, he got 2 guys last year, but those guys didn't really make a big impact. One of them was kind of non-existent most of the season. Another one had some okay games, Fiddler, but overall, he was a pretty big, non-factor in a lot of games. So he's gonna have to get two big guys, whether it's Josh Dix, a few other guys that are out there at the guard position. He's gonna have to adapt, or Michigan State is not going to be able to make another Final Four under Izzo because, unless Cam Ward turns out to be legit, or he has another great class like he had with Jace, he's kind of forced to use the portal because of what took place. And I guess another thing I've been seeing is, and I do agree with, is it's getting tougher and tougher as a college sports fan it's just getting tougher and tougher by the day to root for, I obviously always root for Michigan State and I always follow college sports. I'm not going to go away from it, but it's just getting tougher and tougher to follow it on a daily basis when you have stuff like this happening. Like Trey Hallman, who we thought would be a 4-year guy and, kiss the logo on senior night. Instead he, enters the portal. Jay Akins is like a dying breed of staying at a school for 4 years. You're not going to see that much anymore. So that's just my perspective. But, Izzo's going to have to go in the portal and get a couple guys in order for Michigan State to be a contender next year.
Yeah, I don't really think I have much else to say from what's already been said. I mean, the Auburn game, it would have been nice to win. But I think realistically, everybody knew that was going to be a very tough task. Myself included, I said I didn't want to play Michigan just because that just would have been a disaster for the internet. But that would have 100% given Michigan State a better chance to actually make a Final Four. You can't really be disappointed just because how better that Auburn team is. And they had a moment or two very early on in the first half where you're like, okay, maybe they can keep it close. But then Auburn goes on a 17-0 run. And it's like, okay, let's just settle in. We're not expecting much from this game. So, it is what it is. I, again, didn't really expect much from that. It's disappointing that, it's ended, but it was also kind of expected. With the portal, that's college sports right now. It is what it is until somebody makes some type of rules on it, which probably isn't coming anytime soon. It's still going to be a disaster from here on out. I don't think there's many other words to put it. It's a disaster the way it's being run right now. I'm fully for, kids going out there, getting the bag and, making money, but there's got to be some type of limitation to it. And that's probably not coming anytime soon, like I said. So as of now, it's, if you're a coach, you're adapting to this portal world or you're dying. It's adapt or die, as they said in Moneyball, which I think it's more true than ever with college basketball right now. So, given that we did that aside and I already introduced the Final Four, I feel like we should actually get into the Final Four now. So, Jay, I'll start with you. Just kind of your thoughts on the two matchups we have between the number one seeds. Like I said, it's the first time we've had it since 2008. So, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be, the ratings are going to be off the charts. We're not getting that Final Four 2 years ago, San Diego State and Miami and all those teams, and obviously UConn just blowing everybody out. We're going to have very competitive basketball, which I'm kind of looking forward to. I think for Florida Auburn, look, Florida went went down to the Plains and beat that ass. The Florida's just a different breed right now. I know Auburn's really good, but Florida, their championship mentality is very impressive. They were on the doorstep against Texas Tech, who, Texas Tech should have won that game. That was a big collapse from them. But, Florida's got that championship mentality that you need in a program. I mean, you're looking at guys like Alex Condon, and you're looking at other guys like you're looking at other guys like Walter Clayton Jr. I mean, those guys are impressive. Walter Clayton's just an absolute beast. I mean, he's got that, that mentality that you need to have to win a championship. So from that perspective, I'll take Florida in this spot. It'll be a fantastic game. I think it will be better than Duke Houston, in my opinion, because two SEC teams who know each other, that played twice already. They know their playing styles. So I'll take Florida in this matchup. I picked Florida to win it all. I'm going to stick by that. I mean, they're just absolutely loaded. I mean, but Auburn is too. It's going to be a fantastic game. Really interested to see that matchup between Janai Broom and Condon. That's going to be fun to watch. So that'll be fun. And then Houston Duke. I mean, two teams that play different styles. I mean, Duke is rated top 5 in KenPom in offensive and defensive efficiency, and Houston's a team that if they can shoot the ball well, they're going to be a problem. But also defensively, I mean, they're going to give you so many fits. I think if Con Knippel continue to find it, if he can continue to play as well as he has the last few games, that has really helped Duke in this spot. I think Duke will be able to take care of business. I mean, Cooper Flagg, he'll do what he does. I'm not really concerned about him in this spot against that really good Houston defense. As far as matchup wise, I really like this matchup for Duke. I think they can really get through that Houston defense pretty well. So we're gonna give me a Florida and Duke national championship. You can't really bet against Duke in this spot because they look just ridiculous. I mean, I feel like they're head to toe above almost everybody right now. I still would take Florida, but we'll talk about that later. I mean, Duke is just on a different level right now. I mean, it'll be a great game as well. I think these two games are going to be fantastic, but I'll take Duke in this spot because they've improved. I mean, they've proven. I don't think they've proven anybody wrong, but they've kind of proven why that they've been one of the best teams all year, that they just continue to dominate everybody. So I'll take Duke in that spot.
Jay Walsh, go to you next. Your thoughts here on these matchups we have on Saturday night?
So the first thing that I kind of want to say about this matchup is obviously, it's always disappointing to not see any real Cinderella stories in March. I mean, the Elite Eight was 4 1 seeds, 3 2 seeds, and a 3 seed. It's not quite as fun as seeing, a double-digit seed make a run. But I think people are not realizing how incredible these last couple games are going to be. I mean, these are going to be absolutely phenomenal games. These are the 4 best teams in the country, and they have been pretty much the entire year. So, I mean, I personally cannot wait. I think this is going to be really good basketball. Both of these games, I think, should be really, really competitive. In terms of Auburn, Florida, I have said for a while, at least through the tournament, that I believe Florida kind of fell into that category of a team that peaked maybe a little bit too early. Now, granted, they've won all their games in the tournament to this point. They've made it to a Final Four. They've taken care of business. But there have been times where they really haven't looked quite as dominant as the other 1 seeds have. I mean, you look at Auburn's run. They were losing to Michigan, but they came back and they went on a run to end that game, and there wasn't anything Michigan could do about it. You saw what Auburn did against Michigan State. Duke, I'd have to go back and check, but I don't think Duke's really had a close game in the tournament so far. Houston, kind of same thing. I mean, they absolutely just blitzed Tennessee in the Elite Eight. So, I mean, I think of the 4 of these teams, Florida has definitely looked the most vulnerable. And for that reason, I am going to go Auburn here, because I also said kind of going in that I think Auburn kind of gives 2021 Baylor vibes, where they were pretty much one of the consensus top 2 teams in the country all year. They kind of stumbled a little bit down the stretch, so people started writing them off. and then they just started blowing people out. So I think this Auburn team very much has the same kind of vibe there. Not to mention, I think, obviously, experience matters in a tournament like this. And when your average age and your starting lineup is 23 for a college team, that gives you an advantage. I graduated from Michigan State in December 2022. That is almost 2.5 years ago. And Chad Baker-Mazara is older than I am. And he's still playing college basketball. So, this is the last year that we're going to see that with the COVID seniors, but it definitely plays a role in these games, and I think experience matters. I'm going with Auburn over Florida. In terms of the Duke-Houston game, I think this could be a very entertaining game. Obviously, Houston is phenomenal on defense, but I just think Duke's on a different level. I think this Duke team is phenomenal. The third and fourth best players on this team are projected NBA lottery picks. It's pretty insane when you think about it. Like, people always talk about that. The 2018 team that Michigan State ended up beating in the Elite Eight was Zion, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, Trey Jones, and that was a great team. I think in terms of overall, I think this team may be a little bit more stacked than that one was. Obviously, I think, Cooper Flagg and Zion Williamson, I think, are around the same level of kind of stardom in college. I think RJ Barrett might have the advantage there, but I think in terms of just naming 1 through 4 of their best players, I think this year's Duke team might be a little bit better, a little bit more star-studded than that one. And I think this Duke team is a little bit deeper as well. And a stat that I saw on Twitter, I haven't gone in to fact-check this, but I believe it is true. In the Ken Pom era, prior to this year, there have been 7 teams that have entered the tournament, top 5 in both offense and defensive efficiency. Of those 7 teams, all 7 of them made the final. All 7 of them made the championship game, and 6 of them won it. Duke is the only team that fits that description this year, as JDC said. I just think this team is on a different level. I'm taking them to win this game against Houston. Like I said, Houston's great on defense. I don't know that they have the offensive firepower to keep up in this game. So I'm looking at a Duke-Auburn championship game. Again, I would lean Duke there. I think Auburn's great in the experience, but I just think Duke is so much better than everybody this year. Again, I think we'll kind of get back into that in a little bit, but that's kind of what I'm seeing here in this Final Four. And another thing I want to point out here that's really cool to me, despite the fact that, like I said, most of the season, these have kind of been the top 4 teams in the country, or at least in that discussion. We're looking at a Final Four where we are guaranteed a first-time national champion head coach, which I think is really cool. So I think it's very rare for that to line up in terms of like best teams pretty much all year, and first-time national champion guaranteed. So I think that's really cool that one of these 4 head coaches is going to be a first-time national champion. You've got obviously the 2 young guys, Golden and Shire from Florida and Duke, and then you've got the more experienced guys, Pearl and Sampson from Auburn and Houston. So it is going to be, this Final Four is going to be very interesting, and I think it's going to be really fantastic basketball.
Yeah, I think that's hopefully going to be the takeaway from this weekend is we just get 3 outstanding games just because these 4 teams have been at a completely different level from basically everybody else this year. It's just like Jay Walsh said, it is kind of a weird feeling that we never truly got that, Cinderella run kind of, because we're just kind of used to it. But I do feel like it kind of was a bit for the better this year just because we ended up in this spot with the 4 best teams in the Final Four. Jay Walsh, you mentioned that all the head coaches have never won a national title. If we truly look at it, the most experienced coach in this Final Four is Kelvin Sampson because he's made 2. And he hasn't won in either of them. So I think that's saying something also. I know you mentioned Ken Palm. I saw it earlier today, sent by our missing co-host, Matt Merrifield. The most similar Ken Palm teams to each Final Four team. So basically taking their Ken Palm ranking, their offensive and defensive efficiency, all that, and comparing it to past national champions. Auburn was that 2020-21 Baylor team, like Jay Walsh mentioned. Florida's closest was that 2017-18 Villanova team. Duke is last year's national championship UConn team, and Houston was the 2018-19 Virginia team. So, I mean, that kind of just shows how insane this Final Four might be, because those are 4 all-time teams right there. They absolutely stacked. I mean,
I don't want to interrupt, but I was just going to say, I mean, 2019 Virginia, you can make the argument that they weren't quite as dominant as some of the others. They were still a great team, but I mean, you look at that Baylor team, the Villanova team, and then last year's UConn. Those were 3 of the most dominant teams in recent memory. So that is very telling about how good this Final Four is.
And just to also kind of go off that and how these teams are just that good. I saw a stat after the Michigan State game that if you took their Ken Palm ranking and like basically put it in the previous 5 seasons, they'd be like 2nd or 3rd in the nation. Like that just goes to show like how dominant these 4 teams are, and how we may not see something like this again. I mean, because the tournament, it is always a toss-up. This year, obviously, was a lot more chalk than usual. But, I mean, these are 4 outstanding teams. I would agree with you, Jay Walsh. I kind of think, that Houston, with that Virginia comparison, the Virginia team probably, they are the worst out of those 4. I kind of agree with this Houston team. I don't think they're the best out of these 4. I think they would be 4. I mean, Auburn, Florida, that's going to be an incredible game. 2 SEC. I mean, the first time they played, I know it ended up getting, nasty late with Florida just, steamrolling. But like, this is still going to be an absolutely incredible game to watch. Duke, Houston, I think it will be good up maybe until like 5 minutes left and Duke starts to pull away there. But I think Houston keeps it close up until that point. And then honestly, I don't think like any of the matchups for a potential national title will be bad. I think they will all produce a great basketball game. And I can't wait to see where it goes from there, because I mean, it's most likely going to be Duke up against one of these SEC teams. Like, either of those are absolutely insane matchups. The Auburn-Duke game at Cameron Indoor earlier this year, incredible basketball game. I would expect more of the same in San Antonio if that happened. If it's Duke, Florida, absolutely incredible game. Florida, they've kind of just, it kind of feels like Team of Destiny, but it also kind of doesn't. Because they were out of that Texas Tech game. Like they were half their bags were packed to go back to Gainesville, and then it was just an absolute takeover in those last 3 minutes. It's going to be incredible basketball. There's no doubt about it that it is going to be incredible basketball this weekend. I can't wait to get down to 80-degree San Antonio, Texas to enjoy it. I'm not really thrilled about ticket prices, and a lot of that is because Houston is like 3 hours away. So that's not great, but it is what it is. I'm excited for basketball this weekend. It should be incredible. As to who I am rooting for in San Antonio, I'm entering the transfer portal and rooting for the weather, because I'm just there for 80-degree sun. Not rooting for anybody, just enjoying basketball. I'm rooting for DePaul. That's who I'm rooting for in the Final Four. The DePaul Blue Demons, who played a basketball game in April. That's who I'm rooting for.
I was just gonna ask. I was just gonna ask if you were still gonna go, and obviously you are. So are you gonna show up in DePaul gear?
Maybe it may very possibly be. There's also a very real chance there's a writer's report on either Saturday or Monday inside a former CFL stadium in the Alamo Dome. There is a very real chance that it may be writer's gear. Who knows?
The people need it. The people need it.
I know. And I listen to the people. Shout out the CFL, announced a commissioner today. It only took them 6 months to find one. But, hey, that's a different story for a different day. And just to answer your question, Jay, like fully, I booked this trip back in December. Like I wasn't just going to say, yeah, I'm not going anymore.
No, I remember. I know you scheduled it. I don't know. You could still. Well, you probably can't cancel your hotel, but you could sell your tickets. But I mean, no, yeah.
Well,
I mean that doesn't work like that. But
no, it doesn't.
Well, there you go. You'll enjoy the. It might be the best Final Four in a long time.
Yeah, definitely going to enjoy the warmth too. Because if I'm going to continue to do the Final Fours. I mean, the next two are Indianapolis and Detroit. Not warm weather cities in April. So, yeah. But 2028, we're looking ahead. Vegas. As I wear the Golden Knights jersey, just because this is an absolute abomination of a jersey. Like, you can't tell, but, like, this thing is just... It's an abomination, I can confirm. Also, since Jay sent it to me yesterday, shout out John Shire, former DePaul candidate for head coach. And then they hired Tony Stubblefield instead.
I had my buddy who's a big DePaul fan because his parents went there, yada yada, and he texted me saying, if this is true and not April Fool's joke, I will crash out. How does DePaul athletics continue to get it wrong?
Well,
by hiring Tony Stubblefield over, because John Shire's he's a Chicago guy.
In their defense, this is obviously not great, not a great look for DePaul athletics, but it's not quite to the same level of MSU football turning down Urban Meyer back in the day because they wanted a tier 1 head coach and then hiring John L. Smith.
Or not paying Nick Saban because you couldn't afford him allegedly.
Both true. But, Jay, I do have to say this. Like, let's be honest. If he took the DePaul job, he was only going to be there for a year. He was going to go to Duke to replace Coach K anyways. But it
would have been a magnificent year.
My dad made the comment to me saying, yeah, would John Shire really have that much success at DePaul? Like, he's coaching Duke. Like, all respect to John Shire, but it's Duke. Like, it's
I don't think Cooper Flagg was coming to DePaul with John Shire. So
was also John Shire. Was he winning 3 games last year? I'm not really sure. He probably would have been better.
He may have won 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's big time. Apples to oranges.
That's almost doubling the win total.
That is true.
That's massive.
That is very true. But who knows? Maybe John Shire could have turned DePaul into, the next powerhouse in the Big East. We will never know. It's honestly, it's a real shame. Chicago basketball could have been on the way back up by now, and yet here we are with them losing in the Crown. A tournament that is very funny because I don't know if either of you saw, like, you can't bet on Crown games because the tournament didn't get accredited by the casinos. This tournament's in Vegas, so I don't know how that doesn't happen. But I mean, shout out the Crown, college basketball, greatest tournament.
I do need to admit I haven't really watched a ton of The Crown, but basically everything I've heard about it is it maybe is the biggest shit show that college basketball has ever seen. So, and the fact that you're saying that they didn't get it accredited with the sports books while it's being held in Vegas. Just cherry on top. Beautiful. No notes.
I will also say, if you ask me how many minutes of The Crown I have watched, it is 0. I mean, the DePaul game happened when I was at work. So,
I was going to say, come on, you didn't even watch DePaul?
Okay. I watched about like 2 minutes of it then. But then I'm like, okay, I can't do this at work. Just because it's DePaul. Like, I would be too emotionally invested in their like 30-point collapse in the second half just because they're bad. But shout out The Crown. I know Georgetown's still in it. I know Villanova's still in it. I know Ed Cooley said the defense being played on Saturday was like Stevie Wonder guarding Ray Charles or something like that. Hey, The Crown is magic.
I mean, why? Okay, I understand it's on Fox, but like, why do we have John Fanta gassing this thing up? Like, buddy, I'm gonna be honest. You're a great guy. Nobody gives a you know what.
Because John Fanta is a supreme sicko. This is a true sicko event.
Or
he's being told by his employer to promote it.
Because he works for Fox. Because nobody, I cannot wait to see the ratings if they ever come out. I don't
Do
think
you know that the semifinal games are on Saturday before the Final Four games for the Crown?
Perfect appetizer.
Hey, you could spend the whole day watching elite college basketball.
And then I believe the championship game is on Sunday after the women's national championship. No words.
Beautiful.
For an absolutely incredible tournament.
When's the NIT championship? UC Irvine and Chattanooga.
I think that's tomorrow night. So as we record, that would be Thursday night. Live from Hinkle Fieldhouse, Big East venue.
Big time.
Yeah. Shout out The Crown. What a tournament. I mean, yeah. The CBI, I think that happened. Cleveland State was in the final and lost.
Go Vikings.
Yeah. Shout out Illinois State. I believe they won the title. And then Cleveland State lost their head coach. You know what? We keep rambling here. Let's talk some baseball about the best division in the world, the AL Central, with everybody being 2-4. Shout out the AL Central. Jay Walsh.
Okay.
Yes.
In the Tigers' defense, they are 2-1 against real MLB teams and not literally stacked super teams. So I just want to make that clear. They are 2-1 against real teams.
And I will make the same case about the Guardians. They are 2-1 against real teams because the Padres are just another monstrosity too.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Padres are not on the same level as the Los Angeles Dodgers are, but I will value your point.
Hey, you didn't watch 3 games this week of them just absolutely obliterating the Guardians. Now, are the Guardians bad? Potentially. But the Padres look good. Very good. Jay Coster
Christmas to keep going, to keep it up, or just to get it going.
Yeah. Jay, I don't know about you, but I have no idea what's going on with the Cubs. I know they played in Japan to open the season. What else is happening in Chicago?
And it did not go well for the Cubs, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I had to get up at 5 a.m. to watch that and to get like 3 hits combined in the 2 games. So I lost valuable sleep before work. But no, their opening series was their second series was against the Diamondbacks. They should have won 3 of 4 of those, but the Cubs bullpen does what the Cubs bullpen does, and they collapsed again. So that's lovely. And they swept the Sacramento Athletics. Shout out the Sacramento Athletics. I can't remember what the name of that stadium is. Nick, you probably know.
Suter Health Park.
Yeah, Suter Health Park for the home opener. Cal Tucker has 4 home runs. Please pay that man. But
somebody's going to.
I think he's a Scott Boras client, so we might be effed. But Yes, he is very good. And also Seiya Suzuki has like 4 home runs already. So shout out to him for actually hitting the ball this year. So I mean the pitching needs work.
I do have to correct you. Is not the Sacramento Athletics. It's
I know
just the Athletics.
But I'm calling them the Sacramento Athletics.
I was gonna jump in, but I didn't want to be that guy. They do not want to be called the Sacramento Athletics, even though they are playing in Sacramento.
Well, actually, they play in West Sacramento because I heard that in the broadcast like 50 times. So there's like a giant pyramid in the background.
Also, shout out one of the A's. Somebody from, or no, it wasn't the A's broadcast team. It was whoever they were playing against. Called them Oakland. And then, like, 5 seconds later, when he realized what he did, he was just like, find me. So I just want to give a quick shout out. I forget what team he was on the broadcast for, but that is absolutely elite.
I was watching some of the game last night, and I think a couple of the fans were chanting, sell the team. It's just never change. What's the name of that owner?
John Fisher.
Yeah, screw John Fisher. That guy stinks. Getting rid of the Oakland A's.
Okay, I'm sure both of you saw it, but did you see the media room in Sacramento?
No.
Oh, God.
I did not.
It literally looks like something that FEMA puts up, like after a hurricane. It is literally like a temporary shed.
Oof. Yeah.
Well, they're playing. Is it a minor league stadium that they're playing in?
It's the Giants AAA affiliate.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
so
my
that's
God.
Fun. The Classic A is just a poverty franchise who still have their Twitter comments off because they don't want to hear it. Just a soft franchise.
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly don't know what I would do if I was an A's fan. I would have lost my mind like 5 years ago. So I honestly don't know what I would do if I grew up like in the Bay Area. I have no idea what I would do, honestly.
You'd be a Giants fan?
Fair enough.
Yeah. There you go.
Valid point. I mean, what a disaster. What an absolute disaster. Also, shout out the MLB having 2 of their teams playing in minor league facilities this year. Great job. I know the Rays one is – there's a reason for that, but the Oakland one, I mean.
And honestly, with what a disaster Tropicana Field was, it might be an upgrade for the Rays. But, that's neither here nor there.
Sadly, Matt Merrifield cannot defend that tonight. So, I mean – we'll just have to leave it, but Tropicana Field is a dump, but also was the home to UConn's first national title in 1999. So,
wait, they had a final four at Tropicana Field?
Yes.
What?
Yes. And it was UConn Duke national championship. Duke was like a 9.5 point favorite, and UConn won outright. So, shout out. Michigan State lost to Duke in the semis. I think they got blown out, and UConn beat Ohio State. So, shout out Tropicana Field, a small piece of UConn history. Speaking of UConn, the plucky underdogs, the 2 seed, the UConn women's Huskies, are the lowest seed in either of the Final Fours, as the rest of the women's Final Four is 1 seeds. So the plucky underdog UConn Huskies, going to their 24th Final Four, plucky underdogs. Jay Walsh, you're shaking your head, which means you have an opinion on the plucky underdog UConn Huskies.
Just the idea of UConn women's basketball being referred to as an underdog is just a very hilarious concept. It would be like referring to Duke men's basketball or the New York Yankees as plucky underdogs. It's just disgusting. And also, I mean, another disgusting fact is that Paige Beckers is got to be like 32 at this point. So I mean, again, feel like we're kind of getting to the point where, I mean, what are we doing here with college athletics? I mean, I'm sure she'll probably find another 3 more years of eligibility to try to win another a championship, since she hasn't won one yet. But it's
She got hurt twice.
Yes, she got hurt twice.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
also, sorry, Jay. Please go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, she is she's got to be 25. She's been in college so damn long, but I mean, it makes sense. Keep going, Nick.
I was gonna say, yeah, she very much has been in college for a while. She was there before Caitlin Clark got into college, and she's now there after. Also, don't look at the odds for national championship odds for women's tournament, because it's totally not the plucky underdog UConn Huskies as the favorite at a minus number 2 against the other 3 teams. So totally don't look at that and just embrace the underdog Huskies. What else is there to say? I mean,
I'd just like to get back to the reigning playoff series champion Detroit Tigers for a moment. Just want to talk about how back some of the players are.
The Tigers that lost in the ALDS.
Hey! We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. We talk about the series before, when they beat the fuck out of the Houston Astros and won their first playoff series in a decade. That's what we talk about. But what we're also going to talk about is the fact that there are certain players that they're not officially back yet, but they're on the back watch list. Casey Mize, maybe back. Bro had an elite spring training and came out and was an absolute stud in his first start of the regular season. Might be back. Spencer Torkelson didn't have a great day today. Might be back. I believe even after his 0-for-3 day today, sitting at about an 1,100 OPS to start the young season, might be back. Who knows? All I'm saying is when the Tigers get healthy, when Parker Meadows, Matt Vierling, Winsell Perez, when they all get back, might want to watch out. They could go on another late season run.
But here's the question, though: does Javi Baez need a torpedo bat to fix himself?
Yes.
Javi Baez needs to swing like a 2x4 to fix himself, like a tennis racket. A tennis racket would honestly probably be best.
Bennis.
Oh my God, that
he's played Bennis.
So all you need to know about the Tigers' injury situation right now is that in today's game, in the ninth, this is Wednesday's game that we're recording, the ninth inning of today's game, I believe there were bases loaded with one out in the ninth inning, down one, and we pinch hit Javi Baez. Not pinch hit for Javi Baez. We brought in Javi Baez to pinch hit in a bases loaded, one out, ninth inning situation. As you can probably imagine, he did not get any of the runs home.
It's a whole strategy.
That guy is just something. He is something else.
I mean, it's April 2nd, and Jay Walsh is getting stressed about baseball. I love it. His dedication is unmatched.
Jay, the only thing I need to ask you is, how did you manage to deal with Javi Baez in a Cubs uniform? I know he was. I know he had some great years.
He was pretty good. He was pretty good and didn't swing and miss at everything.
I don't understand how that player is the same one as the one today. I just don't get it. I don't get how they're the same person.
At the time, I remember we did a podcast at Shout Out Impact, but we did a podcast because the Tigers were between Correa, I think it was Javi, Correa, and another shortstop. You're gonna have to correct me on this, but I told you guys at the time. Trevor Story was the third one. Yes, Story. I told you guys at the time this is a terrible signing. He at the end of his tenure in New York, it wasn't great. I mean, he hit for power, but he struck out a ton. The end of his Cubs tenure wasn't fantastic. He was on the decline, and I hated that contract from the start. I was like, this guy's, it's not going to work out at all. And he was second MVP voting to Christian Yelich, and he had I think he had 37 home runs, hit 290, and an OPS of about, I think it was 980. And they called him El Mago, and his downfall needs to be studied. He is a shell of his old self. He needs a change of scenery. Chris Ilitch needs to just cut ties, but he won't do it.
No, he's not going to do it because he's going to have to pay him regardless. But no, I did not like that contract either when it happened, and as I think a lot of Tiger fans didn't, because we all understood that it was Chris Ilitch going with the cheap option because he didn't want to give Correa a $300 million contract. Which obviously, I mean, Correa hasn't been great. Yeah, he hasn't been great with the Twins either, but goddamn, he's been better than Javi. It's always funny for me to look back at that. I believe it was 2021, the shortstop class, the free agency class it was hailed as one of the best free agent shortstop classes in a long time. And the Texas Rangers signed the two best shortstops in that class. And they won a World Series. Yeah. It gets me worked up to think about the fact, and I know the Tigers weren't really in the conversation for either of them, which that's a whole separate issue, but the fact that Texas was able to sign both Marcus Semien and Corey Seager to long-term contracts, and the Tigers got Javi Baez, that one's going to stick with me for a while. Anyway, I'll stop ranting about the Tigers, but just so you know, they could be potentially back. Just want to give you guys fair warning.
Yeah, I'll stop it. We managed to go to 31 minutes to talk baseball. My goodness. What is going on?
I said we were going to find a way to make this long, and we ended up there. We didn't make it the full hour and a half, but I think this is a good capper on it. We're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. If you just stumbled across the Merrifield Sportsbook Show, click like, click subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. Next week, we got an aquarium review. I've been told the aquarium review is happening next week, but let's actually hope it happens. Who knows? We may do a show Sunday night just for fun for the national championship and make it 10 minutes long, which by 10 minutes long, it ends up being an hour, but we'll figure something out from there. If anybody's looking for top of the perch, I'm just so out on Tottenham right now. I am just so not invested in this team that I just don't care, honestly. So that's that. Jay Walsh, I don't think I ever congratulated you on the Carabao Cup victory. I may have. I honestly don't remember, and that was 2 weeks ago. So it is what it is. We'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you again soon, whether it be Sunday or next week. Well, Sunday is next week, technically. We'll see you for another episode of the Merrifield Sportsbook Show quite soon.